1975 was loud. Disco was rising. Soft rock ruled the airwaves, and for a brief moment, these songs were everywhere. They topped charts. They sold millions. They defined a year. Then time moved on. Not because they lacked talent, but because history only remembers what it chooses to protect. This is not a list of forgotten failures. These were hits, erased by time, not by quality. Number 10. Glenn Campbell, Rhinestone Cowboy.
These dirty sidewalks of Broadway.
In 1975, Glenn Campbell was untouchable. A country singer who crossed into pop without asking permission. A session guitarist turned mainstream star, and Rhinestone Cowboy became his signature moment.
And nice guys get washed away like the snow and the rain.
The song wasn't subtle. Its lyrics painted fame as costume, glittering, fragile, and lonely. A man chasing applause while hiding doubt behind sequins and smiles. Radio loved it. Country fans accepted it. Pop audiences embraced it. It spent weeks at number 1 and sold millions worldwide. But history later reduced it to novelty. A punchline, a meme, a caricature of 1970s excess. What gets forgotten is the craft, the restrained arrangement, the aching vocal control, and the quiet sadness beneath its confident swagger. Rhinestone Cowboy wasn't kitsch when it arrived. It was a mirror, showing how success looks when it finally shows up, and still doesn't feel real. Number 9. LaBelle, Lady Marmalade. By the mid-1970s, radio wasn't ready for LaBelle, but the public was. Lady Marmalade didn't just cross genres. It ignored them completely. Funk, soul, rock, and raw sexuality collided in 3 minutes of controlled chaos. The hook was undeniable. The groove was aggressive. And that French refrain, "Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?" turned a pop song into a cultural provocation. It went to number 1 in 1975, sold over 1 million copies, and made LaBelle the first black female group to top the Hot 100. But success came with a price. Radio later treated the song like a gimmick, a shock record, something remembered for its line, not its power. What faded from memory was the innovation, the fearless vocal delivery, the unapologetic confidence, and Patti LaBelle's voice, a force that didn't ask for permission, it demanded attention. Lady Marmalade wasn't just a hit, it was a warning shot, about women owning sound, image, and desire, years before the industry was comfortable with the idea. Time erased its context, not its impact. Number 8. Earth, Wind & Fire, Shining Star. By 1975, Earth, Wind & Fire were already masters of Polish, but Shining Star was where craft met instinct and exploded. The song didn't build slowly. It arrived fully formed, a hard funk riff, a vocal that felt both celebratory and personal, and a rhythm section locked in with military precision. It went straight to number 1, won a Grammy, and became a defining sound of mid-70s black pop, confident, joyful, and technically flawless. But that perfection became a trap. Over time, Shining Star was filed away as feel-good radio. Background music, something bright but lightweight. What got lost was the discipline. The way Earth, Wind & Fire fused jazz theory, funk muscle, and pop accessibility without diluting any of it. This wasn't accidental joy, it was engineered. Maurice White wasn't chasing trends. He was building a system, a band that could groove, soar, and teach at the same time. Shining Star survived because it was built to last, not because nostalgia protected it, but because musicians never stopped listening. Time didn't erase this song. It just made people stop paying attention. 7. Average White Band, Pick Up the Pieces. There are no lyrics to hide behind here, no chorus to sing along to, just groove, exposed and unapologetic. Pick Up the Pieces is pure instrumental funk, and somehow it still conquered the charts. That alone tells you how powerful it was. The opening horn line doesn't ask for attention. It takes it sharp, clipped, and instantly recognizable. It locks in with a rhythm section that never rushes and never relaxes. Every note knows exactly why it's there. Average white band were outsiders in every sense. Scottish musicians playing American funk better than most American bands at the time. That made critics uncomfortable. It still does. The track went to #1 in the US, yet its legacy slowly drifted into the background. Reduced to a breakbeat source, a DJ tool, a sample library staple. But that's not a downgrade. That's proof of durability. Hip-hop producers, funk revivalists, live bands, they all keep coming back to Pick Up the Pieces because it doesn't age, it doesn't reference a moment, it creates one. This wasn't a novelty hit, it was a masterclass in restraint, timing, and collective discipline. Time didn't erase this record, it just assumed you already knew how good it was. Number 6, Pilot or Magic.
Crazy music playing in the morning.
On the surface, Magic sounds effortless, bright harmonies, a bouncing piano line, a chorus that feels lighter than air. That ease is exactly why Time dismissed it. Released in 1975, Magic shot straight to the top of the charts. It was inescapable. On radio, on television, in public spaces where music was meant to be pleasant and unobtrusive. And because it was pleasant, it was underestimated. Pilot weren't chasing novelty. They were craftsmen. Studio obsessives with Beatles-level attention to melody and arrangement. Every harmony is stacked carefully. Every transition is clean. But history has a habit of confusing brightness with emptiness. As decades passed, Magic was reduced to soft rock wallpaper. Remembered vaguely, rarely examined, its chart success became its curse. What faded was the skill, the disciplined songwriting, the pop intelligence required to make something this catchy without sounding desperate. Magic didn't disappear because it lacked substance. It disappeared because it made perfection look easy. And easy is the first thing time forgets. Number 5, Morris Albert, Feelings.
Feelings of love.
Few songs in 1975 were as unavoidable as Feelings. It moved slowly. It spoke plainly. And it refused to hide behind metaphor. That directness made it a phenomenon. The song climbed charts worldwide, crossing languages and borders with nothing but vulnerability and a melody that lingered. Radio embraced it completely, and in doing so, exposed it.
Trying to forget my...
Repeated endlessly, sincerity became excess, emotion hardened into cliché. What once felt intimate started to feel embarrassing. Time was not kind. Feelings became a punchline, shorthand for over-sentimentality, for soft rock at its most exposed, parodied, mocked, dismissed. But that reputation hides a truth. Morris Albert wasn't performing weakness, he was documenting it, at a moment when pop still allowed emotional nakedness without irony. The song didn't fail because it was shallow. It failed because it trusted the listener too much. Time didn't erase Feelings because it lacked talent. It erased it because sincerity is always the first thing we learn to laugh at. Number 4, Jigsaw, Sky High. Sky High arrived quietly, then refused to leave. Released in 1975, it didn't fit neatly anywhere. Too dramatic for pop, too polished for rock, too orchestral to be cool. And yet, it worked. The melody soared. The arrangement unfolded like a film score. Strings didn't decorate the song, and they carried it.
Without a reason why.
Radio embraced it across formats, and audiences responded instantly. It became an international hit, later reborn through film, television, and sampling. But history flattened it. Over time, Sky High was remembered as a novelty, like a cinematic curiosity from an era obsessed with excess. What got lost was its precision, the careful dynamics, the way tension is built and released without rushing, the confidence to let drama breathe. Jigsaw weren't chasing trends, they were composing atmosphere. Sky High didn't fade because it lacked depth. It faded because its ambition didn't fit the stories we tell about 1975. Time erased its reputation, not its reach. Number 3, Major Harris, Love Won't Let Me Wait.
You hold me tight and love.
In 1975, this song slowed everything down. Love Won't Let Me Wait didn't chase hooks or volume. It leaned into space. Long pauses, soft strings, a voice that sounded like it was thinking out loud. Radio embraced it because it felt adult. This was soul music for late nights, not daytime playlists. Intimacy without flash. Desire expressed with restraint. It climbed the charts quietly, becoming one of the defining slow jams of the year.
I need to have you next to me.
And then time rushed past it. As radio formats tightened and tempos rose, songs like this became inconvenient. Too slow, too patient, too honest. What survived was the stereotype, the baby-making music label, while the craft was ignored. Major Harris wasn't oversinging. He was holding back. Every phrase stretched just enough to let silence do half the work. That kind of control doesn't age loudly. It fades politely. Love Won't Let Me Wait wasn't erased because it lacked emotion. It was erased because it trusted stillness in a culture that learned to fear it. Number 2, Ace, How Long?
Don't admit that it's part of a scheme.
At first listen, How Long sounds almost cheerful. A smooth groove, bright harmonies, a melody that drifts instead of confronts. That contrast is the trick. Released in 1975, the song hid its bitterness behind polish. It wasn't a love song, it was a quiet accusation about betrayal, ego, and creative control inside a band. Radio didn't mind. It fit perfectly between softer records, slipping into playlists without resistance. The song climbed the charts on feel alone, but that same subtlety worked against it over time. Without obvious drama, How Long was misfiled as background pop, its tension ignored, its cleverness overlooked. Paul Carrick's vocal is the key, restrained, weary, never explosive. He sounds tired of arguing. That exhaustion is the emotion. Time favors songs that shout their meaning. This one whispered. How Long didn't disappear because it lacked edge. It disappeared because it hid its edge too well. Number 1, Van McCoy and the Soul City Symphony, The Hustle, 1975. In 1975, this song was the dance floor. The Hustle didn't introduce disco. It standardized it, a precise rhythm, a clean orchestration, a groove designed to be followed, not interpreted. Radio embraced it instantly. Clubs depended on it. Television turned it into instruction. It went to number 1, won a Grammy, and defined an entire moment. And then history turned on it. As disco backlash arrived, the hustle became a symbol, not of musical craft, but of an era people wanted to reject. What got erased was Van McCoy's discipline, the meticulous arrangement, the way classical structure was fused with street rhythm. This wasn't disposable dance music, it was architecture. Producers studied it, DJs borrowed from it, entire genres leaned on its blueprint. The hustle didn't fade because it lacked soul. It faded because it became too successful to defend. Time erased its reputation, not its influence.